Every great achievement in history began with someone who refused to accept the opinion that they were ordinary. Yet one of the greatest tragedies is not that people fail. The greatest tragedy is that millions of capable, intelligent, creative individuals spend their entire lives questioning whether they are enough. They stand in front of opportunities but hesitate because they have spent years believing that someone else is more deserving. They silence their own voice before anyone else has the chance to hear it. They reject themselves before the world ever gives an answer. The moment you begin to doubt your worth, you hand over the control of your future to fear. Your abilities have not disappeared. Your potential has not become smaller. The only thing that has changed is your perception of yourself. A person's life rarely rises above the picture they carry in their own mind. If you constantly see yourself as less than everyone else, you will unconsciously create decisions that keep you exactly where you are. But the moment your perception changes, your behavior changes, your confidence changes, your actions become stronger, and your future begins to reflect the new image you have accepted about yourself. Many people spend years searching for something that they already possess. They look for confidence in applause, approval, compliments, and recognition, believing that the opinions of others will finally convince them they have value. But your worth was never designed to be determined by external voices. If someone ignores your talent does not disappear. If someone underestimates your intelligence does not decrease. If someone fails to appreciate your effort still carries value. External recognition is simply confirmation. It is never the source of your value. The danger comes when you allow temporary opinions to become permanent beliefs. Never build your identity on people who are still trying to discover their own. Opinions change with circumstances, but genuine worth remains constant. The strongest individuals understand that they do not need permission to believe in themselves, because confidence is an internal decision before it ever becomes an external reality. One reason people doubt themselves is because they compare the beginning of their own journey with the middle of someone else's success story. Comparison is a silent thief that steals joy, confidence, creativity, and courage all at once. Every person you admire started as a beginner. Every expert once struggled with uncertainty. Every successful individual experienced moments when progress felt invisible. What separated them from those who remained stuck was not superior intelligence or extraordinary luck. It was the willingness to continue despite uncertainty. Your journey is unique because your experiences are unique. Comparing your progress to someone else's timeline only distracts you from developing the gifts that belong specifically to you. Imagine a seed refusing to grow because it sees a fully grown tree nearby. That comparison would be meaningless because every stage has its own purpose. Growth demands patience, not comparison. Self-doubt often disguises itself as logic. It whispers that you should wait until you know more, until you become more experienced, until everything is perfect, until failure becomes impossible. But perfection has never been the requirement for progress. If you wait until you feel completely ready, you may spend your entire life waiting. Growth happens while you move, not while you hesitate. Confidence is not something you collect before taking action. Confidence is something you build through repeated action. Every challenge you face teaches your mind that you are stronger than your fears. Every obstacle you overcome weakens the voice that once convinced you to stop. Action is the greatest cure for insecurity because every small victory becomes evidence that you are capable of more than you previously believed. There is incredible power in the way you speak to yourself. Most people would never speak to their closest friend with the same harshness they use against themselves every single day. They magnify their mistakes, ignore their achievements, focus on their weaknesses, and dismiss their strengths as if they are insignificant. Eventually, those repeated thoughts become deeply rooted beliefs. Your mind listens to every sentence you repeat consistently. If you constantly declare that you are not good enough, your decisions will eventually reflect that belief. But when you intentionally replace destructive thoughts with empowering truths about your ability to learn, improve, adapt, and grow, your entire outlook begins to transform. The quality of your inner conversation eventually determines the quality of your outer life. Remember that your mistakes are events, not identities. Failure describes something that happened. It does not describe who you are. Too many people allow one unsuccessful attempt to become the definition of their entire future. They stop trying because they assume one setback has revealed their limits. In reality, setbacks often reveal areas that require growth, not reasons to quit. Every lesson learned through difficulty becomes a foundation for greater strength. The individuals who achieve remarkable success are rarely those who avoided failure. They are the ones who refused to let failure become their identity. They understood that every experience carried valuable information, and they used that information to become wiser, stronger, and more resilient than before. Your environment also plays a significant role in shaping your confidence. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, criticism, and limitation, it becomes increasingly difficult to recognize your own potential. The voices around you eventually become the voice inside you. Choose environments that challenge you to grow instead of convincing you to remain comfortable. Spend time with people who celebrate progress instead of criticizing ambition. Protect your dreams from conversations that exist only to spread fear and doubt. The atmosphere you consistently remain in will eventually influence the direction of your thinking, and your thinking always influences your future. Understand that your uniqueness is not a weakness, it is your greatest advantage. Many people waste years trying to become copies of others because they believe success only belongs to those who fit a certain image. But the world is transformed by originality, not imitation. Your perspective, experiences, talents, personality, and ideas combine to create something that no one else can fully duplicate. The more you embrace your authentic strengths, the more valuable your contribution becomes. Stop apologizing for being different. The characteristics that once made you feel out of place may eventually become the very qualities that distinguish you from everyone else. Finally, realize that the future does not belong to the people who never experience doubt. It belongs to the people who refuse to surrender because of it. Courage is not the absence of uncertainty. Courage is the decision that your dreams deserve a chance despite uncertainty. Every day you choose confidence over fear, action over hesitation, and growth over comfort, you become a stronger version of yourself. Your worth has never depended on your achievements, your background, your circumstances, or the approval of others. It has always existed within you. The challenge is not to create your worth, but to recognize it, protect it, develop it, and allow it to shape every decision you make. The moment you stop doubting your worth is the moment you stop living beneath your potential, and that single decision has the power to change the direction of your entire life. One of the greatest mistakes people make is allowing other people to become the judges of their value. From an early age, many individuals begin measuring themselves by the reactions they receive from family, friends, teachers, employers, or society. A compliment makes them feel important, while criticism makes them question everything about themselves. They begin to believe that their value rises when they are praised and falls when they are rejected. But think carefully about that idea. If another person's opinion can increase your worth, then another person's opinion can also take it away. That would mean your value is constantly changing depending on who is speaking. A life built on that foundation will never experience lasting confidence because people are unpredictable. Their opinions change with circumstances, emotions, expectations, and personal experiences. If you allow your identity to rest in something so unstable, you will spend your entire life chasing acceptance instead of building confidence from within. The truth is that people can only evaluate what they are able to see. They may notice your current position, but they cannot always see your future possibilities. They may recognize your past mistakes, but they cannot measure the wisdom those experiences have given you. They may observe your present limitations, yet remain completely unaware of the determination, creativity, and resilience growing inside you. History has shown countless examples of individuals who were overlooked, underestimated, and even rejected before they achieved extraordinary things. Their greatness was not absent during those seasons. It simply had not yet been recognized. Never assume that someone's inability to recognize your potential means your potential does not exist. Sometimes people fail to appreciate value simply because they do not understand what they are looking at. Their lack of recognition says more about the limits of their perspective than it does about your ability. Many people unknowingly become prisoners of approval. Before making a decision, they wonder what everyone else will think. Before sharing an idea, they fear criticism. Before pursuing a dream, they wait for permission from people who may never understand their vision. Eventually, they stop living according to their own convictions and begin living according to other people's expectations. This is one of the quickest ways to lose your confidence, because no matter how much you accomplish, there will always be someone who questions your choices. There will always be someone who believes you should have taken a different path. If your happiness depends on universal approval, you will spend your life chasing something that has never existed. The most fulfilled people are not those who satisfy everyone around them. They are the ones who remain faithful to their purpose, even when not everyone applauds their journey. Consider how often people underestimate things simply because they appear ordinary. A rough stone may seem worthless until someone discovers the precious gem hidden inside it. A small seed may appear insignificant, yet within it lies the potential to become a tree that provides shelter, strength, and life for generations. In the same way, human potential cannot always be measured by present appearance or current circumstances. There are abilities within you that have not yet been fully developed, ideas that have not yet been expressed, and strengths that have not yet been tested. If you judge yourself only by where you are today, you may completely overlook who you are capable of becoming tomorrow. Never confuse your current condition with your ultimate capacity. Your present situation is temporary, but your potential continues to grow every time you choose to learn, improve, and move forward. The moment you stop allowing external opinions to define your identity, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop seeking validation and start pursuing excellence. You stop proving your worth and start expressing it through your actions. You become willing to take bold steps because your confidence is no longer dependent on applause or protected from criticism. You understand that rejection does not reduce your value, failure does not erase your potential, and delays do not cancel your future. Instead of asking whether you are good enough for the opportunity, you begin asking how you can continue growing into the person capable of making the greatest impact. That shift in thinking changes everything. It transforms fear into determination, hesitation into action, and insecurity into quiet confidence. When you truly understand that your worth exists independently of other people's opinions, you become impossible to discourage for long because your belief in yourself is rooted in something far stronger than temporary approval. One of the fastest ways to lose confidence is to spend your life measuring yourself against someone else's progress. Comparison has a way of convincing capable people that they are falling behind when, in reality, they are simply following a different path. It shifts your attention away from your own growth and places it on achievements that were never meant to be your standard. The moment you become more interested in another person's journey than your own, you begin neglecting the very gifts that have been placed within you. Instead of asking, how can I become the best version of myself? You begin asking, why am I not where they are? That single question can quietly drain your motivation because it focuses on what you lack instead of what you are developing. Growth does not happen through constant comparison. It happens through consistent improvement. The person you should strive to surpass is not someone else. It is the version of yourself that existed yesterday. Every individual enters life with a different combination of experiences, abilities, opportunities, challenges, and lessons. No two journeys begin at the same place, and no two destinations are reached in exactly the same way. Yet many people ignore these differences and compare only the visible results. They see someone's success, but overlook the years of preparation, discipline, sacrifice, and persistence that made it possible. They admire the outcome without understanding the process. This creates unrealistic expectations and unnecessary disappointment. Imagine expecting two trees planted on different days, in different soils, and exposed to different weather conditions to reach the same height at the same moment. Such an expectation would make no sense, yet many people place that exact burden on themselves. Your timeline is not wrong simply because it looks different from someone else's. Progress cannot always be measured by speed. Sometimes the strongest growth is taking place beneath the surface, where no one else can see it. Comparison also has a dangerous habit of making you overlook your own strengths. Human nature often notices what others do well while ignoring the qualities that already exist within. You may admire another person's confidence while forgetting your own resilience. You may envy someone's achievements while overlooking your creativity, determination, or ability to solve problems. Every individual possesses strengths that are valuable in different ways. The challenge is that those strengths can remain hidden when your attention is constantly fixed on someone else's abilities. Imagine a musician abandoning music because they keep comparing themselves to an athlete, or an inventor feeling unsuccessful because they are measuring themselves against an artist. Excellence is never discovered by trying to become someone else. It is discovered by developing the abilities that already belong to you. The world benefits most when people contribute from their unique strengths, rather than compete to become copies of one another. There is another consequence of comparison that many people fail to recognize. It slowly steals the joy of progress. When your eyes are always fixed on someone who appears to be ahead, every achievement begins to feel small. Instead of celebrating how far you have come, you become discouraged by how far you believe you still have to go. Small victories no longer bring satisfaction because they seem insignificant beside someone else's accomplishments. Yet every remarkable achievement is built upon countless small steps that were once easy to overlook. Confidence grows through acknowledging progress, not dismissing it. Every lesson learned, every fear overcome, every skill improved, and every obstacle conquered deserves recognition, because these moments shape the person you are becoming. When you appreciate your own progress instead of competing with another person's results, you create the motivation needed to continue moving forward with enthusiasm and purpose. The most fulfilled individuals understand that life is not a race against other people, but a lifelong commitment to becoming the fullest expression of their own potential. They recognize that another person's success does not reduce the possibility of their own success. Opportunity is not a limited resource reserved for only a few. Every person's contribution has the ability to create value in a unique way. When you stop comparing yourself with others, you free your mind to focus on learning, improving, creating, and serving with excellence. You begin investing your energy where it produces growth instead of wasting it on envy and self-doubt. Your confidence becomes stronger because it is no longer based on outperforming others, but on faithfully developing the gifts, talents, and opportunities that belong to you. The day you embrace your own journey without measuring it against someone else's is the day you discover a level of peace, confidence, and purpose that comparison could never provide. One of the greatest misunderstandings about confidence is the belief that it comes before action. Many people sit on the sidelines of life waiting for the perfect moment when fear disappears, uncertainty fades away, and confidence suddenly arrives. They tell themselves that once they feel ready, they will start the business, pursue the dream, learn the skill, share the idea, or embrace the opportunity. But life rarely works that way. Confidence is not a gift handed to those who wait. It is a reward earned by those who move. Every meaningful accomplishment begins with someone taking a step while questions still remain unanswered. If you refuse to move until you are certain of success, you may spend years standing in the same place. The distance between where you are and where you want to be is often crossed by one decision: to begin before you feel completely prepared. Self-doubt grows stronger in the absence of action. It feeds on hesitation, overthinking, and endless analysis. The longer you delay, the louder the voice of fear becomes. Your mind starts creating imaginary obstacles, predicting failures that have never happened, and exaggerating problems that may never exist. Eventually, the challenge in front of you appears much larger than it really is. Yet something remarkable happens the moment you take action. Reality begins replacing imagination. You stop asking yourself whether you can do it because you are already doing it. You discover strengths that remained hidden while you were standing still. Every small step weakens the power of fear because action produces evidence that you are capable of more than your doubts suggested. Courage is strengthened by movement, while fear is strengthened by delay. Think about every skill that people admire today. No one becomes an excellent communicator by avoiding conversations. No one becomes a skilled leader by avoiding responsibility. No one becomes a successful entrepreneur by endlessly planning without ever taking the first step. Every ability is developed through consistent practice. Mistakes are not signs that you are incapable. They are proof that you are learning. Every expert was once inexperienced. Every accomplished individual once faced uncertainty. The difference is that they refused to let inexperience become a permanent excuse. They understood that growth is not found in comfort, but in participation. Every attempt teaches a lesson. Every lesson builds wisdom. Every challenge develops strength. Progress belongs to those who are willing to learn while moving forward, rather than waiting until they know everything before they begin. There is also a hidden cost to inaction that many people fail to recognize. Every opportunity ignored because of fear slowly convinces the mind that avoiding challenges is the safest way to live. Over time, hesitation becomes a habit instead of an occasional decision. Dreams become smaller because the individual no longer believes they are capable of pursuing something greater. Potential begins to fade, not because it has disappeared, but because it is never exercised. Imagine someone with extraordinary physical strength who never uses their muscles. Eventually, those muscles become weaker through inactivity. Human potential operates in much the same way. Your abilities become stronger when they are exercised consistently. Every challenge you accept stretches your capacity, expands your thinking, and prepares you for responsibilities that once seemed impossible. Action is not merely a way to achieve success. It is the process through which your hidden potential is revealed. The people who create meaningful change in their lives are not those who never experience fear or uncertainty. They are the individuals who make a decision that their dreams are more important than their excuses. They understand that confidence is built one decision, one effort, one lesson, and one victory at a time. They celebrate progress instead of demanding perfection. They recognize that every small action today lays the foundation for greater achievements tomorrow. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" they begin asking, "What will I become if I keep moving forward?" That single shift transforms hesitation into determination. The future is shaped by those who choose action over excuses, discipline over delay, and growth over comfort. Every step you take today is more than movement toward a goal. It is evidence to yourself that you are stronger than your fears, more capable than your doubts, and far more prepared for greatness than you once believed. Long before your actions shape your future, your thoughts shape your actions. Every decision you make is influenced by the conversation that takes place within your own mind. Most people pay close attention to the words spoken by others, yet they rarely notice the words they repeatedly speak to themselves. Those silent conversations become the foundation upon which confidence is either built or destroyed. If you constantly tell yourself that you are not intelligent enough, talented enough, experienced enough, or capable enough, your mind begins to accept those statements as facts rather than opinions. Eventually, you start making decisions that agree with those beliefs. You hesitate when opportunities appear. You avoid challenges that could help you grow. You settle for less than you deserve because your inner voice has convinced you that greater things are beyond your reach. The quality of your life is often determined by the quality of the thoughts you choose to repeat every day. Your mind is like fertile ground. Whatever you plant consistently will eventually produce results. If you continually plant seeds of fear, insecurity, doubt, and limitation, those ideas will grow into habits that influence every area of your life. On the other hand, when you intentionally plant thoughts of growth, resilience, learning, discipline, and possibility, your perspective begins to change. This does not mean pretending that challenges do not exist. It means refusing to let challenges define what is possible for you. Every successful achievement begins as a thought before it becomes a reality. Likewise, many unrealized dreams first disappear in the mind long before they disappear in the outside world. Protect your thinking carefully, because every thought you nurture is quietly preparing the direction your life will eventually take. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is learning to challenge the negative stories you have accepted about yourself. Many people carry labels that were placed on them years ago. Perhaps someone once told them they were not smart enough, not gifted enough, too quiet, too ordinary, or incapable of achieving something meaningful. Over time, those words became part of their identity, even though they were never absolute truths. The danger is not that someone spoke those words. The danger is believing them without question. Every limiting belief deserves to be examined. Ask yourself whether the thought is based on undeniable truth or merely on fear, past disappointment, or someone else's opinion. The moment you begin replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones, you create room for new possibilities. A stronger future always begins with a stronger belief about who you are becoming. Your inner dialogue should become a source of encouragement, responsibility, and growth rather than constant criticism. This does not mean ignoring your weaknesses or pretending you never make mistakes. True confidence is not built through denial, but through honest improvement. Instead of saying, "I will never succeed," remind yourself, "I am learning every day." Instead of thinking, "I always fail," remind yourself, "Every attempt teaches me something valuable." Instead of believing, "I am not good enough," remind yourself, "I have the ability to improve with consistent effort." Notice that these statements are not empty optimism. They are commitments to growth. They direct your attention toward progress instead of perfection. The words you consistently repeat become the beliefs you consistently live. When your internal conversations become stronger, your external decisions naturally become bolder. Imagine what would happen if every morning you chose to speak to yourself with the same confidence, patience, and encouragement that you would offer to someone you genuinely wanted to see succeed. Day after day, those words would reshape your mindset. They would strengthen your resilience during setbacks, increase your courage when opportunities appear, and remind you that temporary failures never determine permanent value. Over time, your actions would begin reflecting this healthier way of thinking. You would stop allowing fear to dominate your choices and start allowing purpose, discipline, and determination to guide them instead. The greatest transformation often begins where no one else can see it, in the quiet moments when you decide that the voice inside your own mind will no longer be your greatest obstacle, but your greatest source of strength. Once you master your inner dialogue, you gain the power to influence the direction of your life with greater confidence, clearer purpose, and unwavering belief in the potential that already exists within you. There comes a defining moment in every person's life when they must make a choice. They can continue living according to the limitations they have accepted, or they can begin living according to the potential they have yet to discover. That decision is not made by changing your circumstances overnight. It begins by changing the way you see yourself. The moment you recognize that your value is far greater than your fears, your decisions begin to change. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into places that no longer challenge you. You stop apologizing for having ambition. You stop believing that your dreams are too big simply because they make other people uncomfortable. Instead, you begin making choices that reflect confidence rather than insecurity. Every meaningful transformation starts with a new understanding of your own value. When you see yourself differently, you naturally begin to live differently. Too many people spend years searching for something extraordinary while overlooking the extraordinary qualities they already possess. They assume greatness belongs only to those with perfect backgrounds, exceptional advantages, or extraordinary talent. Yet history consistently proves that remarkable achievements are often accomplished by ordinary individuals who chose to develop their abilities with extraordinary commitment. Your greatest strength may not be something that immediately captures attention. It may be your persistence when others quit. It may be your willingness to keep learning when others stop growing. It may be your ability to remain focused while distractions surround you. Never underestimate qualities that seem ordinary today, because consistent discipline applied over time often produces results that appear extraordinary to everyone else. Greatness is rarely the product of one dramatic moment. It is usually the result of countless faithful decisions made long before anyone notices. Recognizing your value also means accepting responsibility for developing your potential. Talent without discipline remains unused. Dreams without action remain imagination. Potential without growth remains hidden. Every day offers an opportunity to become a stronger version of yourself than you were yesterday. Invest time in learning new skills. Strengthen your character through consistent habits. Improve your thinking by remaining curious and open to learning. Develop resilience by refusing to allow temporary setbacks to define your future. Every effort you make to improve yourself becomes an investment in the life you are building. The future you desire is shaped not only by what you hope will happen, but by what you consistently choose to become. The more you invest in your own growth, the more prepared you become for opportunities that have not yet appeared.